Welcome, and thank you for clicking on this week's trips video of the only port of call I encountered on my 11-night transatlantic crossing aboard Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas from Barcelona to Port Canaveral, Florida. In this video, I'll take you to the beautiful Portuguese archipelago called Madeira. And while in Madeira, I'll show you around the island as I take the Citysightseeing Hop on, Hop off bus, as I like to say, ho-ho bus, to downtown beautiful Funchal. Then we'll get some amazing views from Pico dos Barcelos, and then head to an enchanting fishing village called Camara de Lobos before heading back to Funchal to explore the Old Town and ride the Telerifico cable car to the village of Monte for some more amazing views of the mountains and the ocean and maybe a little bit of sangria. Let's go! Before we do, here's a cruise tip. Now this cruise was supposed to be 13 nights, but they had some delays while they were retrofitting in Cadiz during the flooding that was going on in eastern Spain, and the problems continued. Like this chart here showed we were supposed to be back on board at 4:30. The app said 5:30, but then there was an announcement that because the pilot boat was late, we didn't have to be back on board till 6:30. So always ask a crew member before you get off the ship to know when you're going to be back on board. Welcome to the beautiful island, well actually it's an archipelago of Madeira. Well, finally, after sailing 3 nights from Barcelona through the Strait of Gibraltar, we landed at the Port of Funchal on the island of Madeira. Let's explore Madeira. Never been here, have no idea what to expect. That's how I like to roll sometimes. Sometimes I'm happy, and sometimes I'm not disappointed. Always an adventure. And I'll probably make lots of mistakes, so you can learn from me. That's what I'm here for. Okay, here's my first mistake. I thought this was just a cool tunnel. And then when I got home and did some research on this video, I found out that was an old fort from the 16th century. It's currently a nice restaurant and used to be the home of Zarco, the Portuguese navigator. You know I love tunnels and bridges. Now I didn't really look, but I didn't see any buses or taxis up front, so I decided to walk, and it wasn't bad, about 20 minutes, and it's well marked. I heard that Savoy Palace is fantastic. And there's the Royal Savoy. But they're both great. Now that looks cool, but it looks like it's blocked off. I should have climbed those steps. That's technically the smallest country in the world. A local bought it and he calls himself Prince Renato II. Apparently it was omitted from the Portuguese government and he took advantage of it. Apparently I gotta walk down this road for about 15, 20 minutes, or probably another 10 minutes. Very interesting here. I don't know what this statue is in the middle of this roundabout, but I'm going to tell you about all that I can. All ready for Christmas. There's the ships. Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas, MSC's, Opera. It's like those walls go all the way up over those rocks. And the hotels built on top of what appears to be an old fortress. Get to an area of shops and the CR7 museum. I guess that's for Cristiano Ronaldo. I guess he was born here. There's the ships. You take this beautiful walkway down by the marina. Now that's a boat ramp. Pretty neat. Set a bar inside. The Cafe Gruta. It has great reviews and the portions and the service are supposed to be fantastic. Definitely a thing to do on my next trip. Well, I booked the Citysightseeing Hop on, Hop off bus here. It was, I got the 2-route version, €29, but they had a Black Friday sale. And I put the code in, Bus Friday 15 or something like that it was for today. And I got it for €24. Runs till 5:30. Should pick it up somewhere up here. It's not the yellow one. It'd be a red one. That might be the red bus right there. We'll see. Well, the bus had 2 routes. One route was an hour and a half between trips, so I jumped on the red one. That's all I needed. Let's go. continue along the red route to Pico dos Barcelos and Camara de Lobos. Enjoy. The bus stops here for about 5 minutes at Pico dos Barcelos. Beautiful views of the mountains and the houses down below. And you get some beautiful views of the ocean as well. I wish I had gotten off the bus. I didn't realize how long it was going to stop. But next time I'm going to ask the driver to get out and take better video. Now we'll be heading back down the mountain to my favorite spot on this whole trip, Camara de Lobos. Translated into Chamber of Wolves. They're actually monk seals, but back then they called them sea wolves. And once we get to the beautiful fishing village, there'll be a beautiful fresco mural of the sea wolf. It's awesome. This is stop 12. This is where I got off on Camara de Lobos. There's a lot of beautiful shops, churches, restaurants, boats, the ocean. I saw some waterfalls. This is where I see the sea wolf mural and a whole bunch of plantations for the dwarf banana. I guess that's one of Funchal's biggest exports. Well, that and of course the famous Madeira wine, where the vineyards are right up top of these hills here. At least some of them. And this staircase looked kind of weird, but had a great view of the mountain. Let's go. I just love this town. I hope you're enjoying it as well. Next time I come here, I plan on staying a few days, so I won't be doing it by a cruise, and staying at the Pastana Hotel at Churchill Bay. That place looked amazing. And Churchill stayed there back in 1950 and made a beautiful painting of the harbor. There's also a rooftop pool. Definitely worth checking out on my next visit. I just loved hanging out here by the ocean and hearing the waves crash against the wall, and then seeing that beautiful mountain at the end of the island. It's actually gorgeous. And I keep zooming in here. You can probably see the waterfall or just make it out. I definitely want to come here next time and walk along the short stretch of beach that they have here. So definitely take a few days, and I'm looking forward to it. And I like these blue placards. I've seen them in other places around Portugal and Spain. I guess they're ornamental and meaningful for the people that live there. If you have more details on those plaques, please pass them along in the comment section. I'd love to learn more about it. There's the dwarf banana plantation, and right behind those mountains is supposed to be the vineyards for the famous Madeira wine. Just by taking in these gorgeous views, I can understand why Winston Churchill went there and made some beautiful portraits. This looks like a really cool hotel. Pastana, Churchill Bay. Beautiful here. Nice walking path up there, it looks like. Of all the colorful boats. It's amazing. Everywhere you look, you see rocks and mountains and beautiful buildings. Here we go, more artwork. Everybody was taking pictures of everything, and I don't blame them. It's beautiful. Doesn't every town need a beautiful bandstand where they can have concerts, and they even have light shows here. They usually have a lot of things going on, but not today. And here is the zoomed in view of the beautiful waterfalls. And there's plenty more up there. And actually there's cable cars you can take up to get to the top of the hills. I really look forward to coming here again and exploring this area. So much art everywhere you look. Stunning. And speaking of art, apparently this is the place where Churchill sat to do his portrait of the harbour. And a beautiful harbour it is. It's also the location of Churchill's place, the little small restaurant that had a snack and a beer. Well, hope you've enjoyed this tour around Camara de Lobos. Beautiful fishing village. Now let's get back on the Ho-Ho bus and head down to the Old Town of Funchal, and then the Telerifico cable car. Well, that was a real nice ride, right along the coast. I think when I do come here next time, I'll rent a car. Looks like a great drive. This is the waxed wing statue of Icarus. Honors all the workers that were killed building the water aqueducts around Madeira. So much beautiful art in all of Funchal and actually in all of Europe. I love it. Welcome back to downtown Funchal. Let's continue on. I love the ride on the Ho-Ho bus. Hey, there's a place where you can go swimming with the dolphins, and I think they had whale watching there too. And here's a beautiful palace. It's actually a residence now of one of the government officials. Yeah, they have Pizza Hut here. And if Ho-Ho bus isn't your thing, maybe take a taxi tour. Oh, there's also McDonald's. Now let's take a walk around the old town of Funchal. More beauty here. There's the Funchal Cathedral with a beautiful statue of Pope John Paul II. I love walking through the old streets of old cities, especially in Portuguese cities. This is limestone in mosaic patterns. It's beautiful. And there's Baden Powell. He's one of the founders of the Boy Scout movement. Of course, I was talking about the statue and not the guy walking, looking at his cell phone. Hey, they're getting ready for Christmas market here. Beautiful. I just love walking through the old town of Funchal. All the restaurants and the music and the people and the beautiful mosaic streets. Hey, there's Harley Davidson here. Maybe I'll rent a motorcycle next time I come here. But I'm definitely going to be sitting outside one of these sidewalk cafes. They're absolutely beautiful. There's a monument for Madeiran business people. They have lots of monuments. I wish I could name them all. But I sure enjoy looking at them. And I'm sure you will too. Let's head to the beach and then the cable car. Fortunately, when I took this video, I did not capture anybody sunbathing without all the proper clothing. Well, at least the proper clothing that we think here in the US. Don't be shocked. You're in Europe. They're European. And honestly, I find that a very refreshing attitude. I think we should all be more open-minded. Appreciating other cultures sure enhances the joys of traveling. Now let's go take a 15-minute ride up 1,837 feet on the cable cars. 18 euros one way, $22 round trip. You see great views of the ocean, the mountains, and even see those famous toboggan riders. I saw some toboggans being carted up there in trucks, but I didn't see any riders. You can actually do that, and I've seen it online, so you might want to check it out. It's $27.50 for one person and €35 for two people. Now let's enjoy the cable car ride up the mountain to the village of Monte. views on that ride were certainly worth the price of admission. Now I'm just gonna check out the village here. I didn't get up to the garden, but I did overlook the mountains. I love the cable cars, and there's more cable cars all around the island, so especially down Camara de Lobos. I want to check those out too next time. So let's just take a walk around the village here. I thought it was the village of Monte, but that restaurant there says Barbosa's Village, and that's where I had my lunch and sangria. Maybe that's just the name of the restaurant. There's some nice tile work of the tobogganers going down the hill. They're still doing that. There's a beautiful church, and then signs telling you which way to go. The Telerifico for the garden is right there to the right. And speaking of toboggans, here comes a truck full of them. There's another little restaurant you can get some food, and then walk over to the side, and you can see the beautiful garden area. I'm sure it's a little bit further beyond, but there's a cable car or Telerifico that will take you up there. So it's pretty close to the one right there in downtown Funchal. Here's a beautiful shrimp toast I had. It's fantastic. Must have been a lot of people tobogganing today. That's about the third truck I've seen. This, I believe, is the Monte Palace. You could go in there, but I was about ready to head back down the hill. Got to save something for my next trip. I know, I say next time a lot of times, so I'll probably have to have several next trips. Speaking of trips, let's take another trip down the mountain in the cable car. And then we'll walk back to the ship. Probably took me 35 minutes to walk. You could take a taxi if you'd like. But I just enjoy walking the cities, to places I've never been before, getting my steps in, and enjoying all the culture. That's what traveling's all about, right? Well, the first night back on the ship put adventure in the adventure of the seas. It was pretty rough, but the next day was smooth sailing. I hope you liked this video, and like always, I hope you'll hit that like button and subscribe. We'll see you next time.